welcome to my channel. Today's video I'm here to show you this gorgeous new pigment from Social Claus called Starglazer. This is a transparent chrome, and when you apply it over your various base colors, it gives you this just radiant, glassy mirror finish that is absolutely stunning in person. And I know I always say this because I film in a light tint, and it really does not show this off to um, its true potential, but it's really one of the most mirror pigments that I have seen, and it goes on, of course, like any other Social Claus pigment. It's just effortless to apply, very simple. And I just wanted to give you an idea by doing all these different colors, showing you just how gorgeous this pigment is pretty much over any color that you could decide that you want to do. That top row is Lumier's Neon Signal, so those are all neons. And the bottom row is the Vivid collection from Jellyfit. This top row we have clear, black, white, and a cover pink. And it looks gorgeous over all of those. And again, I just can't describe really, or can't really see on film just how radiant this finish is. It's unlike any chrome pigment that I've seen, and because it's transparent, it won't hide that base color as much as a traditional silver chrome would. Look at that reflection. It's absolutely stunning in person. Now, when I was playing around with the pigment, I had a thought that this reminded me a lot of Mercury Glass or silvered glass. So the first part of this video, I'll just show a quick application on a nail, and then for the second half, I'll go ahead and show this Mercury Glass. It's going to be like a ribbed Mercury Glass effect. Now, for the supplies that you're going to need, you'll of course need your pigment. You will need a no-wipe top coat. I prefer accents. And I have found, and I'm starting to use lately, a primer to help with around the perimeter of the nail, to help with adhesion of that final top coat so I don't get any chipping. I have used in the past Bond-Aid from OPI. This works as well, but I almost prefer the primer because it's got a slight tackiness to it, and I think that helps kind of grab onto that top coat. Another thing that you should get in the habit of doing, and I mentioned this in a previous video, is filing the perimeter of your nail once you get your chrome laid down, and that is to help prevent any chipping or peeling. Social Claus, and while supplies last, will include this gorgeous check glass file with this very pointed end here that helps you get around the cuticle area. That will help with that. And as you can see here, I filed off the edge of that, so there was no chrome left for the top coat to stick to, because it really won't stick to it. This is an absolutely mirror finish, so you will need some grip. Now, I will be using Gel Polish 77. Again, this is from the Neon Signal collection from Lumiere. Gorgeous one coat, pretty much one coat polishes from this company. Absolutely beautiful colors. I will, of course, leave links to all the products in the info section. Now, when doing this on my own nails, I don't actually use a base coat or a base foundation gel. I just use I just do a coat of the primer, and I've never had a problem with any of my polishes ever peeling doing that method. So once you cure that, it is a 60-second cure. I'm going to go ahead and get some no wipe. Make sure, of course, as always, that you have no bubbles, no debris, any stray hairs or anything like that in this, because as with any chrome, you will be able to see any imperfection if you have any in that top coat. So once you get a nice smooth layer, go ahead and cure it. I cure it to the manufacturer's directions. And now we're just going to apply our pigment. And again, it applies so effortlessly. You don't need anything really but your fingertip or even the finger cot that comes with your kit. Just get a nice even layer on there. Get around the edges. Another important tip is once you're ready to top coat, make sure that you thoroughly dust off any stray pigment. You don't want any of that getting into your finish to kind of spark it up, make it look either frosty or sparky. You don't want that. So again, here I'm just filing around the edge. I'm trying to give the top coat something to grip to. And to also aid in that, I'm going to use around the perimeter again. Now, of course, when you're doing this on your own nails, you would just do around the tip area with this. Around the tip and the sides. So once you get the primer or even that OPI primer, you can go ahead and the Band-Aid. You can go ahead and do your final coat of top coat. The pigment does adhere really well, but to prevent any possible lifting up, I would go ahead and use light strokes over the nail and try to brush as little as possible and go ahead and cure that. So again, one of the most mirror finishes that I've seen in a chrome, and the fact that it's transparent and can be used pretty much over any color is really just amazing. Now, some people have had some questions about previous pigments from Social Claws and how this one compares. So I've done some samples over an orange neon just to give you an idea of what each one looks like. And again, we have Starglazer, we have rhodium, we have the original real silver chromageddon, and platinum. And on the samples here, the clear is all the way over there on the left. That's clear, just gel polish and clear. Then we have Starglazer. Then we have rhodium. This is the real silver chrome, and this is the platinum. And as you can see, there is a marked difference between the amount of color that comes through with Starglazer. While that does change the color somewhat, it doesn't hide as much as the real silver chromes do. So, and it just is a more glassy, mirror, radiant finish. Just absolutely beautiful. Alright, so now we're going to go ahead and do our silvered or mercury glass design. And some of the supplies you'll need, of course, is your Starglazer, your no wipe top coat. I also have some alcohol inks. You'll need a little bit of alcohol. We'll have our brush and Q-tips that we'll use to play around with our pigments a little bit with our alcohol inks. And to make our ribbed part of the glass, I have used two different, I have it mixed here on my palette. I've used Accents Balance Clear and Trinity Clear. The Balance there on the left is a very thick builder gel, and Trinity is more, it's a thinner viscosity. And I just mixed those two together until I got a little bit, till I got a good mix of where I could paint the lines on and they wouldn't spread so quickly. So we're going to start with a clear base. And again, for any of the nails, I'm going to go ahead and use the primer over the base. And trust me, guys, you don't need a base coat when you do this over your own nails. Again, have been using this method for years, and I have never had any of my polishes chip or peel when just using over enhancements like this. So we're going to get a coat of the no wipe top coat over this that we're going to apply our pigment over. And again, we're going to make sure that that is a completely smooth surface. Kind of difficult to see over clear, but just try to look at it from all angles and make sure that you don't have any bubbles or anything in there. We're going to apply our Starglazer, and you can see how it immediately lends to that silvered glass look. It's still transparent, you can still see through it. Dust off the excess and give that a good file around the edges before we apply our top coat. And again, just the added insurance of helping things stick and stay where they should using the primer. You don't want to go with thick layers here. When we paint on our lines, that's going to give a little bit of bulk to the nail, so just keep that in mind when you're if you do try this. So I'm going to start with caramel and latte, but I do move on a little bit later to teak wood. It's a slightly darker one, and this is just to kind of mimic that kind of distressed look that Mercury Glass has. I tried black and I really didn't like black. I thought it just looked a little bit better with the brown toned inks. So I'm just going to paint on some random spots. There's no, no method to the madness here. There's just painting on the spots, and then I'm going to come back through with a little bit of alcohol and put it in the center of those spots. And then I'm going to use the Q-tip to blot up some of that center area. And that will kind of give us those rings that we're looking for. You could leave some of these spots by themselves as they are, but I think that kind of giving a slight darker outer ring is going to help a lot with this particular effect. And again, here's that teak wood I was talking about earlier. And just however many spots that you want. I did want to leave enough of the silver showing through so you can get that glass effect. When you're happy with your spots, you can go ahead and give that a top coat. Again, just a light coat over it, just to make sure that when we're painting our lines that none of that alcohol ink would come up. So again, we're going to use our mixture here, and I'm just going to paint lines. Start in the center and just work around on each side. I'm curing also between each of those lines just to make sure that the gel doesn't spread too much. You can use an even thicker gel here if you'd like. I just found that using something that was like super thick, it didn't, it wasn't easy to make the lines straight. and keep them a little more even. So what I'm going to do here is once I get down this first layer, I'm going to come through and do a second layer to give it just a little bit more height. So you can see here, we do have a little bit of a 3D effect, but I'm going to come through and just add a little bit more to each of those lines. And again, if you need to, just cure in between painting each line to make sure it doesn't start running all over the place. So I cure that for a full 60 seconds, and I'm taking just a bare amount of the no wipe, just enough to cover all of the surface area, including the lines. The gel that I use does have a sticky layer, so I want to be sure, because I am going to be applying a little bit more of the Starglazer, so I want to make sure that I have no stickiness there. That's going to give a more frosty look, and I want this to be more mirror. So again, I'm coming in with a smaller little silicone tool, and I'm not going to apply this all over the nail. I'm just going to pick a few spots just to kind of give that a little bit more dimension on the nail. I'm going to buff that in a little bit with my finger. And if that's the way that you like it, then go ahead and dust off any excess, and we're going to apply our final layer of top coat. And again, this is just a thin layer to get everything covered. I don't want to take away from the 3D effect of the lines that we just put down, so just a little bit will go a long way. Make sure you get your edges and your perimeter. Alright, so here we have our final design, and I'll take it off the stand here so you can see that it is still a transparent nail. Now you can use more of the pigment to hide the distressing if you like, or even less if you want to show more of the spots. I'll show you the other sample nail so you can see the difference there. Also at the end of the video, I will show the samples again, and I have labeled each one of the numbered gel polishes for each collection, so that can give you an idea of what to order if you're interested. If you have any comments or questions, leave them down below for me. I'll get to them as soon as I can. And of course, links to all the products I used are listed below. And until next time, I will see you guys later.